So hey everyone, what's up? It's me, Tony, GheyForGames, back here for another PvP related video. And today it's all about kind of like min-maxing kind of things, just a few things that I found out that, you know, I thought I wanted to share because maybe you guys wouldn't have like picked up on some of these things, and it's pretty useful information, honestly. So, you know, when I play this game, I like to see exactly what I can squeeze out of the character creator. You know, what I can break, kind of one-shot people, blah 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 blah. Or, in this case, what is the best damage I can get for the lowest stats. So, I'm going to share you a few things that I found for min-maxing your build that might or might not come in handy in the future. So we're just going to delve into this, and the first thing that I want to talk about is the slave set. Now, you get this set from the Painted World in the DLC. And what's so special about this set? Well, it is the lightest complete set of armour that has at least 20% absorption in all fields. So, I tested this, and you can wear this armour, use a shield, an S-stock, and a casting tool at only 7 vit and still be under 70%. So, every class can use this set effectively. Now, I'm not saying you should use only this set, but I think try and use it as a starting point and go from there. Plus, you know, it looks pretty good as well. It's what I've been doing, and it worked out pretty well for this particular build. But I definitely think that the slave set should basically be like the go-to basic armour set, because it has 20% in everything while still being the lightest set that accomplishes this. Now then I looked to see what is the next lightest armour set that has 25% in everything, but there really isn't any armour set until like way into the heavier ones, so there isn't like an armour set that has 25% absorption that will, you know, allow you to roll as effectively as the slave set. I mean, it kind of makes sense that the slave set would be, you know, this good because it came out in the DLC, so, you know, obviously they have to make a set which is kind of like above the average curve in terms of like how good it is, you know. So next there's a few weapons worth mentioning, and chances are you probably know what these weapons are. But the first one is the S-stock, right? So for just 10 strength and 12 dex, you can use one of the best weapons in the game, basically. And it's obviously better used for scaling, but if you make it raw, you can get some pretty decent damage out of the thing. You can also couple it with the Leo ring for extra damage as well, and it's an incredibly versatile weapon, you know? So you can't really go wrong with a raw S-stock, and it'll definitely allow you to outplay a lot of people. I've been using a raw S-stock, and it's a crazy skill compensator, so yeah. Now the next thing we want to talk about is the Dark Hand. Now in PvP I wouldn't really recommend it because fist weapons are fucking awful in PvP, but in terms of stats, in to attack out, nothing beats it. Any class can use it because it has zero requirements, like literally zero. But frankly, like I said, fist weapons are awful in PvP, but I think it's definitely worth mentioning because, I mean, you know, you might be able to hit someone with it and it's basically free damage, you know what I mean? And hilariously, at the point in time where you get it, in terms of PvE, if you can get the Dark Hand, like from killing a Dark Wraith, you will be doing way more damage than any other weapon at that point in the game. So right, last weapon, look, you know what it is. It's the Storer Sword. And specifically, the raw Storer Sword, which is without a doubt, like, the go-to weapon for all builds that aren't invested in strength or dex. Like, just straight up, there's basically nothing else worth using. You can use this thing at 10 strength, 10 dex. And yeah, like I said, only that, the faith requirement doesn't matter, because when you make it raw, apparently, turns out, you don't even need to meet the faith requirement in order to get the full amount of attack out of it. So, no other weapon can really compare to that. So you get a versatile weapon, and it holds its own in PvP with basically, what, at most classes, at most will need to invest, what, 2-3 points maximum into be able to use it. This weapon is fantastic all the way through PvE. Through PvP, you'll be doing completely respectable damage, and it's a long sword, so, you know, you've got it's like, long swords are good. So aye, the Storer Sword. But I think the fact that you don't even need to meet the faith requirements for it is something that you probably didn't know, and then it's just an extra way of squeezing out a little bit extra stats. So I'm gonna guess you'll be looking for a shield to accompany your new stuff. Well, here's something that is almost certainly went over most people's heads. The Pierce Shield. Now, I would say the most important part of a shield is its stability, honestly. Now, of course that isn't everything, you need a good mix. But you would think that good stability would involve a lot of stat investment, you know, when you look at great shields or whatever. But it doesn't. For the tiny investment of only 10 strength, you can get a shield with 65 stability when you put it to plus 10. To put this into perspective, out of every medium shield in the game, the only ones with more stability are the Black Knight shield with 69, and for some reason, the Spider shield. Now, to be fair, the Black Knight shield is better in every other respect aside from weight. And the Spider Shield is actually worse in every other respect aside from stability, so technically there's only one other usable shield in the medium shield category with more stability. Now, not only that, the defense spread of the Pierce Shield is actually incredibly decent for its weight and requirements as well, with a whopping 95 physical reduction. Now, don't get me wrong, its lightning and dark defenses have a lot to be desired for, but considering this thing can take hits off ultra great swords and not stagger, for only 10 strength, it's seriously hard to find a better alternative, especially when the popular alternatives such as Crest Shields have higher requirements and lower stability. Now, admittedly, right, the requirements aren't that much higher, but, you know, it's still like a thing, do you know what I mean? It's still, like, the requirements are still there. Alright, so you want range damage, right? But all the spells and pyromancies suck balls, right? You can't hit fuck all with them. And when you do manage to hit someone, you need to have pumped like 60 in just to get anything out of it. Well, bear in mind lads, crossbows exist. That's right, they actually do decent damage, and when used right, can reliably hit people in PvP. So, again, with just 10, it's always 10, just 10 strength, you can wield the basic crossbow, use heavy bolts, and will be hitting people for around 200-ish on average. Or for like 2 extra stats, you can use the night crossbow that does lightning damage. Now, right, I know that split damage is bad, but coupled with the lightning bolts, they do slightly more damage than the basic crossbow with heavy bolts. And it's not even just the Avalon that's usable, just the basic fucking crossbow is actually great. Well, I guess that brings me to the end of the video. Now, I mean, I don't know if this video has been particularly informative to people, but I suppose really more of the point was to confirm these things for people. You know, like, I looked at a lot of different weapons, and without a doubt this Taurus is just nothing beats it. So, yeah, I want to give a massive thank you to every single patron on Patreon. Again, I'll say it. You have legitimately saved this channel, you've helped me so much, so I thank you from the bottom of my fucking heart. Seriously, guys. So yeah, hopefully you enjoyed this video. Wasn't that long, but, you know, I've got other videos coming up in the future. If you've got an idea for a video, leave it down in the comments. But yeah, I'll see you in the next video, guys. I've said video way too much in that last sentence, but fuck it. Anyway, see you.